Hi everyone, welcome to Tuesday, where of course we take a look at the performance of the main board of the NZSX50. Before I jump across and share my screen, just remember that this is for educational purposes only. I'm just sharing with you my methodology that I use when I'm scanning the New Zealand market to look for any potential buying opportunities, and I love to share that as well. So let's take a look. I'm actually recording this on Monday morning and it's coming up about 11 o'clock. So the New Zealand market is open, and you can see that here, that so far just for the first hour that the market's been open, it's down about $38 or 30 basis points. Now let's just zoom in here. You can see here, this is last week where I've got my little cursor. Last week we did have a positive week, which was a great thing to see. We've had a couple of positive weeks in a row. And again, that is exactly what we want to see with the New Zealand market. The thing here is that there's not a lot of activity going on. If I look down the bottom here, it looks like there was around about $132 million in shares traded last week. Okay, the week before there was a little bit more. There was about 193. To be honest, we sort of want to see a bit more volume happening on the New Zealand market, and we really want to see it starting to kick off before we look at doing any new buying opportunities. Now I'm going to put on my moving averages. So we'll just start off with the 200 period moving average and just see how that's looking, just for the purpose of this. So that is a good sign. The New Zealand market is trading above that 200 moving average, which could signal that it's in an upward trend. The 200 moving average is a very slow moving average. I've got it on a weekly basis. Obviously, we're talking sort of 4 years worth of averages when we do a 200 period moving average in this example. But if I zoom in, you can see that the New Zealand market, when it sort of started to fall at sort of around the end of last year, we have hit it. We've hit it a few times. It looks like about 4 weeks in a row, sort of around that April-May period, when we did hit it before we had a little bit of a rebound. And obviously we've had a couple of weeks selling off, and now we're just going sideways. So what that's going to show in the long term, I'm really not sure, because that's not my game. I'm not into guessing markets and performance and where they're going. I just look at what I can see available at the day and make my decisions from there. Let's change this moving average and we will make it a 30 like normal. Now, I normally make this an exponential moving average. However, Google have made some changes and I can't actually access it. It's behind that screen there. So let's just leave it at the 30-week moving average. Okay, it is a simple moving average. Normally with the exponential moving average, it puts more emphasis on the performance of the more recent weeks. I've got it over a 5-year period. So rather than a simple moving average, averages the performance over obviously the last 5 years, and exponential would actually put more emphasis on the latter end of the market. Like someone once described me, it's about looking at job applicants, and this one reads perfect for what you're wanting. However, 5 years ago was when they last did the role that you're looking at. The next 5 years I've been doing a completely unrelated job. So that's what the exponential moving average does. Puts more emphasis on the latter end of the market rather than averaging just the entire market. But anyway, that's enough on that. I have to work with the tools that I am given. So as you can see, yes, we're trading below that 30-week simple moving average. That's not a good sign. Markets, obviously they will turn around at some stage, but according to this, because we're trading below it, I definitely wouldn't want to be entering into any new positions on the New Zealand market at all. Let's also put on the 15-week moving average. And again, I have to keep this as a simple moving average. Looking at this chart now, when I was able to bring up the exponential before they suddenly made these changes, because we'd had a positive week last week, it had got really close to crossing through that 30, but it hadn't. Obviously, because like I was explaining with the moving averages, it's averaged over this 5-year period, we've got a bit more of a gap happening. Hey, at the end of the day, the results will still be what they will be, even though I can't get my exponential moving average up because the shares, yes, it's trading above the 15-week moving average. I want to see it cross through that 30. And that's something I've spoken about for the last few weeks, actually, is we want to see the 15-week moving average cross up through the 30. That usually indicates that we've got a rising market, but certainly not at this stage. And it's really quite disappointing, if you like, for the New Zealand market, because the Australian market and the US market have been performing exceptionally well. I haven't been looking at all markets, but those are two that I do keep an eye on. However, we're quite a laggard, and why that is, I cannot answer, but unfortunately it is what it is. So at this stage, nothing exciting to really report on the New Zealand market, other than it looks like we're still in a bit of a holding pattern, bit of a sideways pattern, and we do need to see some more activity, really. And this is why when you do talk to financial advisors and things, this is why they like to diversify their funds outside of the New Zealand market, is because we're such a minute little market. And that's why when I look at charts, the only one I can get, unless I was to pay for a Bloomberg a subscription, which is very expensive, I can only use Yahoo Finance for the indices. So it is what it is. Not a lot happening on our market. We're still in this holding pattern. Now, I'll just stop sharing. I had someone come to me last week and saying about their experience with investing into cryptocurrency, which I know a lot of people are doing, and that's great. It's certainly been a very strong runner of late. So if you come back on Thursday, I have done a review on some cryptocurrency. I've done some ETFs. I've looked at it on the New Zealand market, which has only been running a very short time frame. And I've obviously been looking at it on the US markets as well. So come back and take a look at that. Hopefully you'll find that interesting. But remember, if you've got a share that you would like me to review, or if you've got any questions regarding share trading, share investing, please let me know. I'm happy to help, happy to address them here, and hopefully help you to create your own financial freedom journey. Take care.